All right. Hello.
Hello, are we here? Oh, yes. Okay, so this is the part where you're going to hear something really unpleasant for a second. Oh, never mind. I caught it just in time. Hello, and welcome back to Party Chick Astrology. I'm Nina.
I'm Shaina.
And here we are with another Drag Me show. Our last one of the year.
Oh my god.
Yay!
Yeah. Whoa.
With another.
Sorry, I did it that time. Normally Nina does it, but my.
Oh no. Hi Trenton. Hi Jess. We're just waiting up. We're like 1 minute early. So we're waiting on Diana to show up. She's first on the list, and then Kristin will be coming in for second on the list. So just waiting around. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, I can't believe that it is our last Drag Me of the year. We have readings up for sale right now because always people ask me or ask us, how do you get a Drag Me reading? It's linked down below. Yeah, that's how it's done.
Yeah, orders placed in December will be fulfilled in January as we're taking some time off for the holidays. And we have 2 people getting dragged today. And Diana is here, right on the nose.
Dang.
So I was looking at these 2 charts that we have going on here, and holy water signs, like for both of you.
Yeah, let's see here.
Water.
Oh, dang, yeah, you've got, like, oh, wait, are you cutting out?
You cut out for a second, but you're back.
Oh, okay, sorry, I was losing connection. But yes, lots of water signs, and all you've got is this little bit of fire thrown in there to just kind of mix it up and even make it more chaotic, you know?
I know. You're a Cancer sun, Cancer rising, sun in the 12th house, and a moon in Pisces. 29-degree moon in Pisces. You're probably just like the most spiritually advanced person that could probably exist. That's not a drag,
but I wonder because you have that Saturn in Taurus in the 11th house, and so I feel like you want to be, but then at the same time, maybe there's always something that's like, maybe there's something always in your mind that's like, oh, you know, stop this silliness, you know? I don't know.
You have also Uranus in the 8th house, retrograde, so there's like a lot of insecurity about how, because like, let's get right to it. You're like a wild little gal. You're just like very deep into, like, I don't know if I could even like talk to you. You're so not, none of this is coming out right. I don't know if I can even talk to you. That's not what I mean. It's just like, I don't know if I can even like communicate to you with words, because you're just like so out in the ether with the sun in Cancer in the 12th house and moon in Pisces at 29 degrees, and your moon is in the gosh, Roman numerals, 9th house. Of course, because you're Cancer rising. And it's interesting, like, you actually do have, because like first glance I'm like, wow, holy water, but holy water, that's funny. You actually have quite a few, like, you have this Mercury in the 1st house, which is like interesting for a Cancer rising. What I have found with people who have Mercury in the 1st house but also have a Cancer rising, is that like your intelligence is part of what makes up your identity, right? But that is not really something that you hear about with Cancer risings. So people with Cancer rising, Mercury in the 1st house, like need to basically have it all. Need to like be juggling all of it. Like, you're stupid because you're a Cancer rising, but like you also have to be really smart, and like your smarts are everything, so you constantly have to prove your intelligence, and you can't like, because like some Cancer risings, me included sometimes, just get away with being like, oh no, I'm so stupid, I just don't get it. Oh no, I have to pay to get, oh no, what? Oh gee golly, which is not the case for you. You can't really ride on that thing, even though like so much of your chart says like you can just pass off being spacey and whatnot and like get away with it, but your Mercury in the first house is like giving you this accountability of also needing to prove your intelligence.
I'm also wondering because it is in Leo. If it's like, you know, most Cancer risings are like, yo, it's chill, I can be in the back, just, you know, just skip over me, I can just, you know, slide my way through things. But with having a first house planet being in Leo with while being in Cancer rising, I feel like it also is not only like you have to do both in that aspect, like what Nina was talking about, but also like you know, you also feel like you don't want to approach people too strongly, but then also you feel like you have to make sure that you show yourself and people don't forget about you and that you're spoken of and you're thought of, because you got that Sun conjunction as well. Sun conjunct, like, Cancer Sun in the 12th house. I feel like most of the time a Sun conjunction to the ascendant would be like, make somebody more extroverted, make somebody more this, but I feel like with that conjunction, I feel like you feel more raw, almost. Like you feel like maybe you're too exposed, like your meat is maybe a little bit on the outside. I also think you have, let me see. Oh no, you have your moon trine, your Mercury, which is in your first house, which maybe that people like pin you as somebody who's like head in the clouds, like super quick too, because of that.
Here's the thing also, is that like something interesting about Sun in the 12th house conjunct the ascendant, and this is exacerbated for you because all of this is Cancer, and Cancer as an archetype is just like, I'll give up my body for something else to grow inside of it because it's the mother archetype. So what happens is that Sun in the 12th house like has a really nebulous sense of self, but then you have this touch point of it being conjunct the ascendant. So, and the ascendant is not your sense of self, it's how other people label you. So it's like you don't even know yourself without somebody labeling you. And like you don't even know exactly who you are outside. It's like a weird situation because you would think that like Sun conjunct the first house, it's like you know who you are through and through. But with your Sun in the 12th house, it's like you're not quite sure who you are unless other people affirm that in you, and maybe even like you gain your sense of self based off of not necessarily the relationships you're in, like a 7th house Sun or a Libra or something, but like the people that you help with it being Cancer, like the people that you nurture, or just the fact that you are able to be a nurturing person. You do also have like Leo planets, so there is some kind of like innate confidence in you that wouldn't at first be evident looking at your Sun. But it's funny, you just said, baby, I am not easy to forget, LMAO. That's a Sun conjunct the first house thing. I keep saying first house. Sun conjunct the ascendant type of thing. Like your Sun is on display and people are just like straight up seeing you and being like, this is you, blah blah blah, and like you are very noticeable. But I feel like with the Sun in the 12th house, there can just be like a little bit of dependence on other people telling you who you are in order for you to like have a, you know, sense of self.
Yes, no one believes me when I say I'm a Cancer Sun or rising. That makes sense. I feel like also with that, like, Leo Venus, like, that is somebody who's, like what Nina was talking about with the Sun in the 12th house thing, how, like, you, like, there's this dependence. I feel like yours comes from, like, you need people to validate you. Like, yes, I am, like, I am here. I am unforgettable. So it's like you might, like, overexert those things and try to, like, erase over your Cancer rising. And, like, especially with that, like, North Node in Leo, with having 2 Leo planets, I feel like sometimes you might even, like, overexpress it and overdo the whole, like, here I am me, tell me I'm here and beautiful thing, you know? Oh my god, so true, let me shut up. Yeah, I don't know. Leo Venuses can be so obnoxious since this is like a fucking roast, yo. It's like I've heard somebody, like, two people that are very professional, just kind of, that are like Leo Venuses, and I the more you get to know them, the more you're like, they do need affirmation. Like, they do need to be constantly told, like, yeah, what you're doing is good, like this outside thing, like, kind of like cheering you on, you know? I don't know, I feel like especially with that Venus and Leo in the second house, like, that's a super materialistic placement. Like, Leo in the second house, Leo Venus in the second house, and it's like trine Jupiter. Like, you want a lot, you want it now, you demand it. I feel like this is such a princess position, especially with the Cancer Sun. There's something very Cancer Sun, like, I don't know, they can be very much like, I want to just, you know, be safe and warm and home all day and have everybody do the stuff that I don't want to do because I want to sit and be in my emotions and be pretty. That's a very surface level. Huh?
There's a lot in your chart that points to you. There's a lot in your chart that points to you being somewhat dependent, not in like an overt way, but just like you have so many just like empathic signs, I guess, or just like signs that like to blend themselves away into others with that Cancer Sun, Pisces Moon, and Scorpio Mars. And this gives like a different kind of flavor to your Leo placements, because Leos have like a strange reputation where sometimes like Leos are seen as like constantly needing attention and needing themselves to be boosted up, which is not inherent in the Leo archetype. The Leo archetype is really about inherent self-confidence and just feeling like you're the best because you are you. But because your sun is not like the most self-sufficient, I guess, these Leo placements are a bit more needy for you. So you're still like, with that Leo Venus, definitely extroverted and confident, but just a little more needy than you would necessarily think about in terms of like the Leo archetype.
Yeah, I definitely think you're very much protected and sheltered. Like, I feel like your parents were very just like, you know, I feel like I'm going to keep calling it like the princess thing of like they wanted you to be always careful. They really, like, you're very precious to them. Like, you have this like 5th house, Scorpio, Pluto in the 5th house, as well as like a Pisces moon, and then it's conjuncture the ascendant, so I wonder if there's like a little bit of a stage mom kind of thing. Doesn't have to be like particularly acting, even though with that Venus in Leo, that Mercury in the 1st house in Leo, it could be, but I feel like, you know, like your mom was your biggest fan, always rooting for you, always be like, you can go out, you can do anything, you can, if you can dream it, you can do it, if you believe it, you can, blah, blah, blah. Like, you can literally, like, probably instilled in you that you could go out and, like, sprout wings with that, like, Pisces 9th house, like, optimism, you know?
Jupiter in the 10th?
Huh? Sorry, I'm getting
Jupiter
such
in the
bad
10th house.
Pluto in the 10th house?
Jupiter in the 10th house.
Yes, Jupiter in the 10th house.
Yeah. Like, that's a real, like, you could sprout wings right now if you just believe.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, 9th house is like, you can go out, you can do whatever you want. LMAO, my parents were very toxic and didn't encourage me as much, but I am into acting. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you have your Mars in the 4th house. You have your Mars in the 4th house in Scorpio, so that's not surprising. And you use the word toxic, which... Libra, yeah, that's tough with a Libra IC and a Mars and Scorpio in the 4th house. It's that is a pretty toxic combination.
Yeah, in 5th house, fucking, you've got your Chiron and Scorpio in there, you got Pluto in there. Like, I feel like that can represent, like, also, like, being very sheltered, being very, like, around a toxic childhood as well.
Yeah, and your sun is in the 12th house, which is just not encouraging ever in terms of a relationship with your father.
No. No. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, your rising, like, that Cancer rising speaks so differently, especially to your midheaven. Like, your midheaven is in Aries, there's part of Fortune in Aries in there, and there's Jupiter and Taurus in there. Those are, like, big, very, like, here I am, I'm gonna blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like that also has to do with, like, while you're, like, typing, and I love that you're talking back. Like, I love that you're talking to us. I'm not, like, roasting that. But I'm just saying, like, Like, I feel like that's why you're so much more, like, talkative, whereas, like, I feel like most Cancer suns, especially with somebody like a 4th house Scorpio planet, would be so much more, like, you're like, no, but I need to go out, and I need to be here, and I need to be seen, because my moon is on my midheaven, and my Jupiter is there, so let me do a live reading, you know?
Yeah, do you want to drag Neptune in the 7th house?
If you have something, sure, go ahead. I
don't know, it's just like something that's really awful. It's just like a terrible placement. And also it just like makes sense, like daddy issues all over the place with that sun in the 12th house. Capricorn descendant, obviously, but then Neptune there. And Neptune in Capricorn already is like, I feel like our whole generation has somewhat daddy issues. Like,
well, she's Neptune in Aquarius. Exactly.
Sorry?
She's Neptune in Aquarius. Did you say Neptune in Capricorn?
Oh, sorry. It's just you're so similar with us that I forget that you were born a couple years later. Neptune in Aquarius. Yeah, Neptune in Aquarius has different issues. You still have daddy issues, but on top of that, Neptune in Aquarius is so it really grinds my gears. Sometimes, like, I feel so old when I'm thinking about like the Neptune Aquarius generation and just like how disillusioned these people can be surrounding how to be a good person. Like all of these things like virtue signaling and just like people are really, really critical nowadays of like people being absolutely perfect and being hypocrites and whatnot. And I feel like this a lot of time just comes from this Neptune and Aquarius issue.
Yeah, like that Aquarian god complex, like I'm gonna preach it but not do it, you know, kind of thing. Like, especially because it's Neptune, exactly. So you don't really know how to do it. You can only just tell people when they're doing it wrong, you know?
Yeah, and it's just like there's no real connection to reality like you're disillusioned by humanity. Like you feel like humanity needs to be this perfect thing, and basically humanity just always disappoints you. That's the thing with like Neptune, is that it frequently just disappoints you. And so like people just disappoint, and the state of the world is constantly disappointing this Neptune and Aquarius generation. And there's like still like Uranus and Aquarius is showing this real big push and, you know, desire and motivation to change the world and do good. But like with this Neptune and Aquarius, it's just like it's so disillusioned and it's so like impractical, and you get like way too disappointed.
Yeah, well, like I think that it shows that Gen Z does not have any Capricorn generational planets, and most other generations, like a lot of time before, there was like a lot of time spent and a lot of fucking Capricorn energy, and here we are in a lot of Capricorn energy, and Gen Zs are like, what is, like, this world sucks? Well, and like especially people that are older are like, yes, we have Capricorn energy. I don't know. Like I feel like this is off topic, but we were talking about how Rugrats is like a good example of like very like Neptune and Capricorn stuff. But also with Neptune and Uranus and Aquarius and having Pluto and Sagittarius, like those are super optimistic signs, and those are super like, you know, it's like this special snowflake syndrome, which whatever, I think that people are unique, and that's fine, you can own that. But the thing that I do have an issue with as far as that combination goes is like, somebody mentioned TikTok, of like, it's that thing of like, everyone's talented. Like, you don't have to do anything, you just are talented and you deserve these things. I feel like that's definitely having, you know, that's the obvious shift of like millennials having Capricorn generational planets, and then Gen Z's not. Gen Z's are like, I don't have to do anything, and then I go viral on TikTok and I'm famous, and it's fine because people like me just because I'm me, and I'm special because I'm me. And then I feel like millennials are like, I'm never good enough no matter if I do something or nothing, you know? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I also think there's like something with that Saturn in Taurus.
The laziness, yo.
We could just diagnose the generations by like the generational planets here all day. But let's look at some specific drags too that aren't as generational.
I was going to say, Nina was talking about, to go back a lot, she was talking about dependence at the beginning, and I feel like there's also dependence in your chart in the sense that you have a Libra in your 4th house, which most Cancer risings do, obviously, so this is true for a lot of Cancer risings, but especially with all that other stuff, I feel like your dependency is a lot just based off of how people see you, how people perceive you, and making sure that you're, like, cultivating the correct image, especially with that moon in conjunct the midheaven. As much as that can, like, the moon is a very, like, vulnerable placement, and Pisces is the most evolved sign. I still feel like there might be a little bit of a thing where the moon is very reflective, and so it wants to get good so it can give good, you know what I mean? So, and it wants to feel good, and it wants everybody else to feel good, and especially with that Neptune in the 7th house, I feel like there can be a major sensitivity to people, how they talk about you, how they perceive you, you know, and you want to put on this, like, Pisces fantasy, like, this is who I am, I'm going to project this very watery, morphable image, you know, kind of just to get the admiration and the likes you want and think you deserve, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird thing where you want everyone to like you, because you want to make everybody happy, or like you want to make everybody happy, which is like, wow, so selfless, but you want to make everybody happy because you want everybody to like you. Yeah. And because you want everybody to like you, then you're not always honest about the ugliest parts of yourself. And I think that's like a Mars in the 4th house thing as well. And so you're actually doing yourself a disservice. So it's like, are you being selfish? Are you being selfless? Who is winning in this situation? Is it you because people like you, or are you losing because you're not able to, like, fully express yourself and all of, like, the nitty gritty vulnerable parts of you? Super confusing. Another thing that I was, sorry?
No, it's okay. You can finish your sentence. I can.
Another thing that I was really annoyed with myself about, which I think we share, Diana, is I was just thinking about, like, and I think we share this because we're both Cancer risings with Mars in the 4th house, and I was just, like, sitting down yesterday thinking, like, why the fuck am I so fucking sensitive? Why do I have to remember the time that my camp crush rejected me when I was 10? And why does that have to still influence my life to this day? Why does that still have to be a psychological pattern engraved in me? Like, why do I have to hold on to that and, like, still have that be a part of me? Why am I so sensitive that everything literally affects me, and the past, just like the most insignificant things from the past, like, still affect me? I feel like that is totally, especially for you, that's Scorpio Mars in the 4th house, Cancer rising. I feel like that is something that you probably deal with. And sorry, but that sucks. Let me know if you ever figured that out.
Yeah, yes. And also going back a little bit, because we were talking about, maybe you feel my pain. Yeah. And also because we were going back and talking about, like, getting admiration and, like, compliments and, like, trying and caring about what other people feel. I feel like we're making it out to seem like you get that, but I feel like with your 11th house Saturn, you definitely don't receive the love as much as you want. You know what I mean? And that may be why you do that in the first place, why you look for it so much. But I definitely don't think that you, especially on, like, a wider sense, maybe you don't feel like you get the admiration you deserve, or you don't get, you know, you have trouble with friends or fitting into groups or finding your place, you know, as much as you have, like, you know, you have those generationals. I feel like the Saturn in the 11th house makes you feel like, I don't know, there's just a lot of trouble when you get into friend groups. And maybe that's just because you are so sensitive and you do take in everything and you do take up things like a sponge. You are very raw, like Nina was talking about, that maybe that kind of affects things and makes it hard. I don't know. Maybe you get really stubborn friends that don't want to hear what you have to say and don't want to hear about your feelings, you know, that Taurus stuff. That Saturn stuff, that cold stuff, you know, and you're just trying to be a warm, fuzzy Cancer, you know. These people are being these Capricorns.
I assume that your parents kind of, like, left you to kind of figure your life out on your own in a lot of ways, and they were just like, everything is fine, just, like, figure it out. And at least you have that Jupiter on the 10th house where you're like, oh wow, I suddenly do kind of, like, know how to figure it out every once in a while. Friends don't want to be as vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's interesting with that Saturn in the 11th house. So
and the Capricorn descendant.
I just feel like you're always looking for love and just always looking for to be able to be cushy and soft and finally like feel secure. I feel like that's a very Mars in the 4th house thing of like, when can I finally just like be cushy and soft and relaxed? I was actually like laughing at myself the other day. I was just like chilling out. It was the evening. I was home alone. I was like, let me put something on that's like nice and relaxing in the background. And what do I choose to put on? I choose to put on The Real World. And like one of those intense seasons where like they're fist fighting with each other. They're yelling and screaming. Everyone has like a different like Boston, New York something accent. Everyone's yelling, screaming, calling each other names, putting each other in chokeholds. And I'm like, oh yes, just a nice little relaxing show to have on in the background. And I just was like laughing at myself because I was like, that's Mars in the 4th house, where you're just like I just love hearing people scream and yell at each other. It's so relaxing. It's how I know my peaceful, loving home to be.
Yeah, I always say my favorite like genre of music is noise, just like loud, obnoxious sounds in my ear, too loud. I'm like, that's it. But that's actually your drag. Your timer went off a bit ago. It was really fun. Thank you so much for being so active in the comments. It's always nice.
Yes, I hope that you enjoyed this Drag Me. I hope that it stung a little, but not too much.
And we are going to get on to Kristin whenever we know that she is here.
Yes.
Let me pull that up. Oh, do you guys both have grand trines that we've been talking about? I'm pretty sure that you did too, Diana.
Thank you, Diana.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, we do. We got so much water. This is so funny. There's always such a theme. It's like laughable.
Always. Yes. Oh, time to be mean to Kristin. Kristin! Me and my boyfriend are rewatching a bunch of Big Brother seasons, and we're rewatching season 12, and we just got to the episode where, if anyone's a Big Brother fan, we just got to the episode where Rachel wins head of household, and she's like, floaters, grab a life vest! Kristin! And that's just like what I always think about when I hear the name Kristin. So, Kristin, it's time for your drag.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, again, holy water.
Yeah. You're born in 2003. Oh my god, you're almost a Uranus in Pisces. I know that's irrelevant, but that's crazy.
Baby!
Kristin is smelly. Is she? Honestly, probably not. She's got a lot of 6th house stuff. She's got 6th house.
Yeah, you probably smell really good, but you're also probably pretty sensitive to when you don't smell good.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, just having a 6th house sun in Scorpio, I feel like is a pretty controlling father, but I feel like maybe, I don't know, it's pretty well aspected, so I feel like maybe you responded pretty well to it for the most part, except you just maybe can't transfer that, like, your ability to organize, your ability to keep things straight into your job. Like, you can maybe do it in your day-to-day life, but for whatever reason, it's like, once you get to work, you're like, I'm a mess. I don't know where things are. What's going on? Kristin broke her hip at Walmart when she was 5. 6th house sun things. Jeez.
I guess, like, sometimes we do talk about, like, 6th house stuff with, like, injury and whatnot, but that's just so funny, so random. Trigger warning, I don't think I should say this, but, like, you have an eating disorder chart. You shouldn't have said that. But, like...
Oh, yeah, the poorly aspected rising in Taurus, combined with, like, the 6th house Libra Scorpio things.
6th house Scorpio sun with a Taurus rising is an eating disorder setup. It is. I'm sorry. This is a very sensitive topic, and I shouldn't be so like blasé about it. But That's an issue that I see time and time again with Scorpio Taurus stuff. Men, women, always.
You also have that, like, Scorpio 7th house, Pluto in the 7th house, like, very controlling people. You're always around people that are trying to control you, control your diet, control what you do, control this, control that. And, like, I don't know, maybe you have some, like, I don't know, Trenton, Kristin, are you siblings? Is that what's going on? Is that how you know each other?
He's her friend. He bought her the reading.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm not trying to, like, roast, but, like, you possibly could have had some issues with, like, also controlling siblings. I don't know. With that 3rd house Saturn, kind of. But it is pretty well aspected. Let's see here. What is
it? It is so funny. He's the 3rd person dragging Kristin. And Kristin's mom, who is apparently cray-cray, and her name is Pam.
Me and her mom are both Scorpio Sun, Sag Moon. Yeah, that Pisces Moon in the 11th house, that's a very changeable person. I'm also wondering if, like, like, that's a very, like, mom, maybe she's, like, very, like, she's like, I'm gonna try and be everyone's friend. I'm gonna say hi to everyone. I'm gonna, like, the cool mom, and I'm trying to, like, put myself out here, and, like, I don't know, with that, like, Pisces 11th house Mars energy. Yeah, Uranus conjunction, like, I'm cool, I'm with it, and I'm hip, here I am, Kristin, we're gonna be best buds, and yeah. And you're like, Mom, yes, you're crazy.
You also have, like, quite the 7th house, with Venus and Pluto in the 7th house.
Yeah.
And is your Venus and Pluto?
Yeah, it is. Your Venus and Pluto's in there. Yeah. And your Juno's in there. You are a relationship-oriented person. Oh, my God.
Relationship-oriented person. If you haven't had your heart broken yet, girl, you have a big storm coming. Because already, people with Taurus risings, I talked about this in my Taurus rising video, but, like, just... correlation doesn't necessarily equal causation, but I've seen some horrible stories of people with Taurus risings and the way that their first love goes, the way that their first relationship goes, stuff like that. And so that's scary, especially as a Scorpio sun. And is your sun? No, your sun is an opposite your ascendant, so you've got that going for you.
But like
Saturn retrograde in Cancer. So we know that your mom's name is Pam. We probably don't know who your dad is.
I was also going to say with that, like, so relationship oriented, like one of those classic cases that we talk about where we're like, you were ready for a serious relationship before anybody else was, like, you were like, I am wifey material from the very start, like, let's do this, let's get involved with this. And that probably broke your heart because you totally just, you are so ready to give yourself over to somebody, and you have so much in your heart and in your emotions to share and get out, and so much shit and so much guck. Wait, her dad, I don't have his chart. Oh. That mysterious, that Scorpio. Ooh, who is he? We don't know.
Hold on. Our connection is, like, a little bad, so we never know, like, when we're interrupting each other, so apologies if there's, like, dead space.
I know, Mars in Pisces is not a Mars that I would like to have, especially, like, a Mars in Pisces conjunct a Moon in Pisces, I feel like is very hard to understand what's real and what's your emotional delusion, and, like, should you actually stand up to somebody, and are you getting taken advantage of, or are you completely unsure of what the fuck the situation is, and are you speaking from a very irrational emotional context, or are you speaking from an irrational emotional context, and maybe you should express it, you know, like, it's always just like, what the fuck's going on, what do I do, but whatever it is, I'm sure it's like, you just respond very volatilely, and you're very passionate, and I feel like, you know, already Pisces Moon is a moon that's super, like, sensorially it's just very sensitive, and it's very aware, and so having that Mars, like, activated even more and add more, like, to it, I feel like there's just, like, just a lot of emotional shit always going on with you, you know, that's just very obvious with the Scorpio Sun and a Pisces Moon, but it's just even more emphasized by this.
I know, it's interesting, like, your moon is very, very expressive, which is actually a great thing in my opinion, but also like really scary sometimes, like really confusing. What house is your moon in? Your moon is just barely in the 11th house.
Yeah.
So, and guess who she takes it out on? Her 11th house friends. Yeah, with 11th house moon and Mars. I have so much experience with people who have Mars conjunct moon, and it's just like so admirable on the one hand, because like my Mars is nothing, and I'm just like, thank you so much for being so open and honest about like how you're feeling, and just like I admire how passionately you're able to express your feelings, but at the same time I'm like consistently overwhelmed by these people. And I've already found that people with Pisces Mars without that moon conjunction can be absolutely crazy and like impossible to talk down from a ledge. Not literally, but just like if you wrong a Pisces Mars, and I would assume that it is doubly enforced with a Pisces moon as well, it's just like, it's almost like you're dead to them. And you need to go through the 7 layers of purgatory to get back in their good graces. Not to mention, you are a Scorpio, but you have your Venus in Sagittarius, which is sort of fun. It is at 0 degrees, so you still have a little bit of Scorpio in there, though. Still,
this is this is definitely like a very baseline drag, but I'm gonna talk about Scorpio suns because I've been thinking about this and like why I'm cautious to like even just like start a friendship with just sometimes a Scorpio sun is because I feel like Scorpios have this idea that like people are scared of us because we're mysterious, because we like this, because we do that, because of this and that. But I find that like with Scorpios, like or people with a lot of Scorpio energy, I will wind up like accidentally doing them wrong and like not knowing that I'm doing them wrong, and they don't communicate to me that I'm doing them wrong, so instead they do me wrong 2 times the amount that I did them wrong, because they're like, I'll show you, but I don't realize what's going on, so then I'm just like, what's going on? And then I'm like, fuck this, I'm not trying to play any sort of game, I don't know what's going on. And then I just feel bad because I didn't know that I had hurt them, but they won't tell me. Ugh. Oh my god, Tyler, that's so nice.
Oh, you're super shy. It's revenge, for sure.
Yeah.
Just like so much emotional charge.
And I'm like, I'm never trying to hurt the Scorpio. I'm never trying to offend them. Like, I rarely ever am. Like, obviously, I'm sure, like, some people actually are. And so when they need to get back at them, you need to do what you need to do, okay? But sometimes I'm like, you just need to communicate. I don't know what's happening. But yeah. Especially with that 6th house sun, all that 6th house, and that 6th house Mercury, just, like, I feel like your mind fucks you up a lot. I feel like you already have a very, like, charged emotion, moon conjunct Mars, but having like a Mercury and Scorpio in the 6th house, like that's a very like 6th house Mercury is very like this, and then Scorpio Mars is like how to like it's trying to outthink everything. So I feel like you're always trying to like outthink everything in the most like practical, like how do I get what I want, kind of like how do I put these things into place. But like you have a very like definition of like strategic mind, you know. But as much as you have a strategic mind, it's also like super emotionally charged, like I said, because of that Pisces stuff. So I don't know, it's a lot.
You know why your mom is crazy? It's because of your Saturn in Cancer. Like, I think that we should normalize Saturn also being the mother more often, or just like Saturn also being female authority figures. And I think in this case, like your Saturn, because it's in Cancer and it's retrograde, your mom is insane. You're crazy. And I think that with it retrograde, it's just like you probably had to take care of your mom. Because like, look at you, you're a real responsible person in a lot of ways with that 6th house stuff, 6th house Mercury. You can be like very organized and whatnot. You probably have to organize your mom's life for her.
Do the finances for everyone too, especially.
Yeah, but like at the same time, you're also a mess, and that's because like I always get left and right brain confused, but like logical brain of you, which is like left brain, I think, is just like totally settled. You got it. Like you can Virgo it out. You can sixth house it out. But can you handle your own emotional self? No. You can only handle other people.
Yeah, you can only handle other people's emotions, especially with that 11th house moon. Yeah, very like nurturing to your friends, nurturing to your mom. And also, what's funny is I realized that you said your mom's a Virgo Trenton, I think, is exposing your mother. He says she's a Virgo rising with a Sagittarius sun, and I think you said Scorpio moon. But I was thinking, like, based on your moon, it reminded me a lot of one of my roommates' moms. And the fact, and she's also a Virgo rising Sagittarius sun. And so I think that's really interesting because, like, that's definitely that, like, I'm friends with everybody, here I am. Like, I feel like she probably has a 5th house, Virgo, Sagittarius, what is, she might have a 5th house, and it could be in the 4th house, but if it does have a 5th house, Scorpio and Sagittarius, okay, so there's still Sagittarius in there, but, like, maybe she made it all about her, and so that's why you're just this, like, person who comes around and, like, 6th house is everyone, 11th house is everyone, makes it about them, helps them, like Nina was talking about, just being there for everybody.
Yeah. Did your mom, like, put rules around you that, like, made it really embarrassing for you to, like, have sleepovers or something? Like, did you grow up with a specific diet? Did she, like, make you wash your face, like, 3 times a day, and one of those times was at school or something like that? Did your mom, because, like, that's like the vibe that I'm getting. We're also just like dragging your mom because Trenton is giving us like some of her birth chart information. But like that's the vibe that I'm getting, is that because your sun is also in the 6th house, and your moon and Mars are in the 11th house. So I feel like it's almost like with moon in the 11th house, your mom is present in your friendships. Like, while you're hanging out with your friends, especially when you were a kid, there's, like, something like, oh, my mom doesn't let me eat this, or, like, my mom won't let me do this. So, like, yeah, and saying that she would always comment on your body from a young age, very controlling. Absolutely, like, that's the vibe that I'm getting. And maybe, I'm really sorry that I, like, that I kind of like threw away as like kind of jokingly that eating disorder comment. I shouldn't have done that. That was like really insensitive of me. But you might still, and I think that a lot of people have disordered eating patterns without being like diagnosed with an eating disorder. I think food just like culturally is so fucked up, or our cultural understanding of food is so fucked up. So I wouldn't be surprised if you like went through phases of unhealthily counting calories, or like already from a young age thinking about what you were eating when most kids aren't, or stuff like that. And that makes sense that you're saying that she was like very controlling of you, and apparently she cut your hair at school.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, and she always would comment about body. I feel like it's also from a very, like, Virgo rising, first of all, of course, you're going to be nitpicky about everything you do, right? But also with the body thing, like, I feel like having, like, being put those controlling things, right? You have that 6th house stuff. I feel like that makes sense why your Venus is just on your 7th house, because, like, I'm sure, like, somebody else had a big influence over how pretty you were. Like you said, like, your mom cut your hair in school, Venus in the 7th house, like, and there's something very Scorpio Sagittarius about coming and cutting your hair at school. You know what I mean? Like, there's something very manipulative about that too, and very like random, and like I feel like, I don't know, like, there's a lot of, like, your Venus is, I feel like, having a lot more trouble than we've mentioned, because I feel like a lot of things are talking to it in very different ways. Like, the Scorpio is very much like, I want one person. The Sagittarius is like, I want to be free. The 7th house is like, I need somebody to complete me, and I'm going to be there for the other person. But the Scorpio is like, they need to be there for me. So, and then it's like square your Uranus, so it's like you have this Sagittarius that's like wants to be free, but then it's square your Uranus, so you're like, can never decide which one's which. It's always like, when you're in a relationship, you want to be out, and when you're out of a relationship, you want to be in. Your Venus is square your moon, which just makes you very, like, it just, I feel like that's, maybe your mother was also very much, like, always comparing your guys' beauty, or, like, making you compliment her or something I can find with this aspect, or like making what you're wearing, like she's always involved in what you're looking like in a negative way. And like everyone came in to watch it. It was for some charity thing. Oh my god, Kristin, I'm gonna cut your hair at school. No.
So funny. I think that like with your Saturn, what your mom taught you was how to control other people, or like how to look after other people, or how to manage other people, but never how to manage yourself.
Yeah.
That's like what I feel your Saturn is saying, because it's retrograde in Cancer. And what house is it in?
And I feel like with all this like anxiety and all this stuff, like it makes sense that your Lilith is in Taurus in the 12th house. That's the ultimate like I need to veg out position. Like I need to escape from what the fuck is going on and just like have something familiar to my life. Like maybe there's something even in like the Taurus Lilith in the 12th house of like not having that childhood comfort thing, so now you like really grab onto it, really grab onto the things that you had as a child that you have maybe like good associations with. I feel like definitely as a Scorpio sun in the 6th house, you throw away shit all the time. Like you're one of those people that like, I have an emotional connection to this, good or bad, I don't want it anymore, like I'm getting it out of my life, right? So maybe there's like Lilith and Taurus, like I don't know, maybe there's those few things you really hang on to. It can even be like, I find with a lot of Taurus people, they hang on to like, obviously like food, kinds of food they eat. Yeah, and you're a Taurus rising, I totally forgot that. And so like maybe like hanging on to like eating mac and cheese or something like that, like 6th house things, like keeping that routine going for forever, almost like manically, like this is the safe thing to eat, this is the safe thing to eat, you know?
Or just like that emotional connection of like, when I voted in the 2016 election, I voted in person, and it literally took 6 hours. Like, I'm not kidding. And I need to eat very frequently, otherwise I get pretty cranky. So I went like 6 hours plus without eating. Like the sun had set, everything. Me and my roommate came home and we were like, we're ordering Veggie Grill. And I got something that I'd never gotten before. I got the, like, this is so random. This is such a 6th house story. I got the Buffalo Bomber sandwich. And now every time that I'm like really, really stressed and I want to like feel this sense of relief, which is what I felt on that day, I order the same thing. Even though I didn't really enjoy it, it was like too spicy for me, but it's just like, it's that emotional connection to food and just like the routine of it all that makes you feel like, this makes me like, I don't know if that's like something that you...
No, really... I think that you probably totally understand that, especially like emotional eating. Like I feel like you're like, must fill up this void with food, eating my emotions, moon conjunct Mars, you know? Survival. Kristin, I'm going to bring you a Buffalo Bomber sandwich. I'll put it in your mailbox. That's so funny.
This is so cute. You're also like saying like, I'm gonna cut your hair at school, and it's just like, oh, I wanted an astrology friend in high school. What?
That's so sweet. But yeah, that was the timer for your drag. Mostly, I think half of it was for your mom, but you know, I hope you still enjoyed it.
Here's the drag of it all. You are your mother's daughter.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's all.
That's the drag to top it all off. And also Trenton is your mom, which is funny because he's an 11th house person, right? So, and your moon is in the 11th house. So funny.
Connect.
But I hope that you enjoyed your drag me, and I hope that Trenton enjoyed it twice as much as you did. And thank you both for supporting us. We wish you the very best in your friendship. I like have a little crush on your friendship. I think you guys are so cute together.
Oh, you're a 5th house person, Gemini rising. Oh, that makes sense why you're like Gemini rising. I love it. It's sweet.
And also, you're always making it about yourself. You're like, Kristin's mom's like this, and so am I.
Oh, yeah. Now we're just dragging you, Trenton. You thought you'd get off easy, bitch. But yeah.
We've already dragged you, and we've dragged your sister. Like, we're just going around your entire circle of loved ones, dragging them, basically.
Oh my god. Yeah, so big thank you also to Diana, who purchased a reading, and Trenton and Kristin.
Thank you, Diana.
Yeah, they're still available if you want one. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Tyler, for the super chat. Super nice of you. Our first fan, truly, Tyler is.
Yeah, literally. Thank you so much for, that was really sweet. And that's so sweet, Trenton, that you keep on coming back. It means so much. I'm going to end this now. So, yeah. Any last words, Nina?
Yeah. No, just bye. Happy holidays. Thank you, everybody.
I'm just playing the outro.